sure you're filming. I am Tracy. This is my channel, Tracy from the Mermaid Cove. We're doing a little car vlog because my time just flew away this morning. I'm trying to incorporate a new regime, but I need to be getting up about an hour, at least an hour earlier, and I didn't this morning. So yeah, I just posted a reel and a short. So reel is on Instagram, a short is on YouTube of one of my tops from Olapopkin I got. I love it. The size is perfect. The material's great. It's just got that little kind of pop of color around the collar. So y'all check out Olapopkin. Now for some reason I got lucky. I was on Instagram and I kept looking. I had stuff in my cart. So I don't know if they send something just to you. I don't know how this works. But all of a sudden it popped up 40% off, and I have never, ever seen that. Never. The most I've seen is 30, where they'll do like 10% off $100 or 20% off $200 kind of thing. So that was like magic or something. But and I limited it because then it's like, well, 40%, you should get more. Well, no, that's not the point. Not the point. I got 4, and it made me pick and choose and decide what I liked more, or it was something more similar, so I didn't need 2 of them kind of thing. Because I'm going to slowly start building up my black tops again, because a lot of them, black does, no matter even if I'm not wearing all the time, and I'm careful about washing them, don't dry them, it just fades. This one, because this is nice material, and that's another thing about Olapopkin. Well, one, they have they're a Swedish company, but they have fun, bright pops of color and unusual things. Some of the styles of the clothing I don't like as much, but they have really cool fabric and interesting things. So, yeah, but I'm good for now. But yeah, so I think the other's gonna fit fine too, because it's hard because we're used to 18, 20, 20, 22, and they're and then no, 18, 20, 22, 24, and then last time I done 24, 26 I think, which I don't know why I did, and I should have returned them because most of them are too big. But my good friend Cleo, I'm gonna see if she can show me if there's an easy way maybe to take a couple that I really like in, so it just is a little bit more fitted. But so many plans, y'all, so many plans. Yeah, I really I am feeling so much better, but that doesn't equal like, all of a sudden everything is perfect in my world and flows easily. It's still work, and it's a work in progress, and because I really had planned yesterday afternoon to do it kind of art, and then you know what, I just didn't want to do it. I hadn't prepared, so I'm going to work on preparing so Monday I can sit down and do it. And I was hunting long story short, I locked myself out. I have a hidden key in the garage because when my mom got sick, I locked myself out. I've never done that in my life, really. I don't. But so I was so worried about getting this DVD player I had to return that anyway. But then I had moved the key sometime, like thinking, I should do it here. Ugh. And the car was up really close. I had this tiny space to try to get in when I finally remembered where it should be. It was, it was a moment, y'all. It was one of those moments, sitcom TV moment. But anyway, I tore around things. I thought, you know what, Monday, I want to start my garage, but I am going, I was reading about ADA, and this is when you set alarms, they have to be a hard stop. Like, you cannot add 7 more minutes, or you have to train yourself that is a hard stop, because that is one of the things that will help you the most. So I am going to work on that. But I thought, you know what, depending on the weather and what I get done before then, maybe I'll give myself like 45 minutes, maybe a half hour, I don't know. So my goal is where my car pulls up against the wall, there's just disarray from winter, not wanting to put things back. But when I was looking in this one cabinet, I found like some cleaner and a fixative. When you do acrylic art, it can stick, right? It's a thing. It's a big old thing. And so I've been listening to people, what they do, and I'm taking this one class, this woman does these beautiful flowers and abstracts, and so she was talking about it. But I think in there I didn't focus on it, a fixative. So I'm going to see if it's something that's appropriate for paper. But I want to go through all that again and kind of remember, honestly, maybe I should write what it is and put it outside. And just stuff like that. So I want to get that organized, and I have tons of black garbage bags. I have it on my list, but honestly, you guys, I'm good for quite a while. Except getting rid of stuff, hopefully I'll go through them. And then I want to take up anything fabric that I put in the garage, which was not smart. But anyway, any of that I am going to bring up to my room, and we're going to start that fabric sort out. And I think what I'll do is just start with that, right? And then the yes, no, and maybe for this, we'll see. I want to have more no's than anything else. And then when, keep the yeses, even if I'm not sure, but yeah. And then when I bring other stuff and see, okay, so this is what I think I want to keep, and then go through and say, oh yeah, well, you have a lot of that, so let's take that out, kind of thing, and make it more manageable. So, but to do that, I didn't go through my clothes yesterday that I need to get organized to wash. So I'm going to try to work on that tonight and tomorrow. And then that will clear the area where I want to put all this stuff. So it's manageable. So that's what's going on. I did not get my food thing on, y'all. I'm doing so much better. I can't explain it. But it's not like if my brain is perfectly balanced, as much as it can be, that I'm I used to be much better at time, but I just have to use my aids and follow through on them. So, because I want to make food. I have some yummy tuna fish stuff left over for today, and then I do have some Trader Joe's stuff. I'm going to eat the gluten stuff, and then from now on, just get things that are non-gluten in the freezer, and I'm going to make a smoothie with some protein powder today. And that should be enough. I'm really craving salad. I may stop by the store tonight, just how tired I am and what's going on. I might even look, if I have time, and see if I can get a 6 o'clock appointment or 6 to 7 pickup. Because I think you have to do $35, and their Starbucks, the stuff I like, is $6.99, and you cannot get cheaper than that. That's the price I want. So it's up 69 cents per little thing. So, and they have one called Spring Day. Now I'm not sure it'll be there because over the week, well, it might be. But I want to, grab a couple of those. So I think I could hit 35. I need some cucumbers. I need some tomatoes. I want to make a roasted vegetable salad, and then like a cold salad with beans and veggies and all that kind of stuff. So maybe I'll do that. I'll order that up and pick it up. But I really am wanting a salad. So that's what's going on. I gotta stop talking the talk, right? I am walking some walk, but that kind of thing should be a non-negotiable for me. Just like brushing your teeth and showering and that kind of thing, right? And wearing clean clothes, make healthy food for yourself. So that's what's going on. I have my protein shake right now. I did eat up all my boiled eggs, so I need to boil some more eggs. Working on my hydration. And I was talking to Beverly about how I don't ever want to be separated from my art, my creative practice, or my creative moments in the day, and I do think that it's meditative for me, and it helps me calm down. And I do think not only do I think, okay, so here's a good example. I locked myself out, and I stood there and I thought, okay, this is rare, this is strange, but we have a key. Let's put everything down. We'll go find that key. And then I thought, okay, you moved it in the delirium of the untreated brain this summer. Where did you move it to? And I thought, well, let's check this one cupboard. And honestly, I think I was supposed to check it because there's all this good stuff in there I can use. With ADHD, out of sight, y'all, out of mind. And then I finally remembered, and I was like a contortionist, and found it. And then, but the thing I noticed was I wasn't, and then my friend Robin has a key, who I was meeting for breakfast, And I had a plenty of time because I was going to go do my errands pre-breakfast. I thought, oh, this is okay. But I didn't internally, trying to explain to Beverly, my friend Tina, it's not, I don't know, this is the highest dose I've ever had of any ADHD medicine. And my other doctor made it sound like, this was what I was taking was like the high. Well, and, so all the blessings of this hard year were, I have a new brain guy. He's a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and he's a miracle. He's a miracle. I can't tell you, and the confidence he gives me, and like, okay, well, if we get a bad batch, we'll do this. Like, he goes, listen, I have all kinds of things to try. But, so I'm only going to stick with 30 days. I like 90 days because I don't have to think about it and do it, but I cannot trust getting a bad batch of generic. I can't. 90 days is, as I'm starting to feel like myself, but it's like hard to explain this, and I haven't written about it yet and really thought about it, but I've noticed, so this is like only a week, maybe a week and a couple days. I meet with him Thursday, and Thursday will be 2 weeks that I've been doing it at the 60 milligram, and I can only, like, it makes me want to cry. It's like, I really like myself. Like, it's not that, I don't know. It's like, how do you think I don't know, how do you know that you've never felt something if you've never felt it? Because what you're feeling becomes the norm, right? That's even people with pain, right? You normalize it somehow, like homeostasis, right? You just don't want to deal with it, so you normalize it, and that's how you feel, and you can say, oh yeah, I feel good, or I'm happy, but you're still somehow, I do think anybody who's had any sort of SA in their life or abuse learns to do that just automatically. But it's like dawned on me that I am not having mean thoughts about myself. And I didn't realize, like, this dialogue, right? Like, oh my God, you said you would do this, you didn't do it. What's wrong with you? You said you were going to make vegetables and you didn't make them. You're a loser. You said that you were going to do X, Y, and Z, but now, did you do that? Now, it doesn't matter what I have done, y'all. I guess I didn't even realize truly, like, I knew I had awareness of it. A lot of it's my mom's voice. A lot of it's just, it is. But it's not my mom. It's not my mom's responsibility, right? I do believe her in spirit's helping me. But I just all of a sudden realized I was not doing it. And I've been feeling really good about myself with all the debt I have, with the weight I want to lose, with the so much stuff in my house, and all the other issues that I'm going to work through, that I always felt like you'd feel good or okay about yourself when you're out of debt, when you're at the weight you want, when your house is decluttered, when when, right? All these like things that are not attainable. Maybe I'll get to some of them, but they're not like this minute attainable. But I'm still in the process of all that, y'all, and I feel really good about myself, and it's weird, almost weird, like I said, I don't know, I'm really like myself right now. Like, I really am enjoying my own company. And it's not that I didn't do that before. It's just, I guess I feel like my brain, maybe for the first time in my entire life, is balanced. Could it, zhuzh up and down? Probably, but overall, it's more balanced. And even when I think of what I have to do, I do not get in a panic mode. I do not, like, what's the point of, it's almost like torturing yourself. Like, well, you're gonna be homeless, right? That's a good one. Or you're gonna whatever. Like, oh, if you really met a man you loved and you trusted him, he's gonna take advantage of you. Really, just like, and it goes by so fast, you don't really know, right? And you've set yourself up now, and you're in trouble because you spent money when you shouldn't have. Like, you buy all this, it's just on and on. And you get used to that chatter, I think. Like, I don't think you pay attention to it, but it gives you, it's almost like a low-grade fever, I think. Like, you just have a low-grade feeling of ick. Of course. Now, I said out loud to myself something, and I thought that's what I used to say to Care Bear, my niece. Like, I would never speak to her, especially visualizing her as a kid, a younger child, like 5, 6, 7, when she's so full, just your kids are so full of, lucky kids. I'm going to say that right now. I understand privilege here, but lucky kids, who are happy and exploring the world, and, and you have to sort of, build them up and applaud them and teach them, and it's kind of like that. And I thought, you would never say this to Zach or to Carrie, right? My two hearts. But I wouldn't say it to Beverly. I wouldn't say it to anyone I care for. I wouldn't say it to a stranger, really. I wouldn't. So it's a lot to explore here, and I'm really curious right now. I'm trying to, and I have slowly moved out of fear into curiosity. And I think, I'm spending so much time watching art classes, listening to these amazing teachers who talk about their struggle. We talk about when you get into the joy of making and not worrying about an end result. That's it. That's the ticket, right? It's not that you're going to sell your art or people love it or whatever. It's the process, the exploration, the being with it, and just having fun like a kid. Right? I'm sure there are some kids who say, oh, I hate that. But in general, you know what I mean? So there's a curiosity has started to edge out the fear. The unnecessary, torturous fear that really served nobody. It's just really tore me down. So this is kind of fresh and new. And I'm even like, okay, if you get a batch of medicine that's not working, we're going to deal with that because we know, right? We know the drill, and, Adderall and the drugs coming to this country are nowhere near okay, right? There's still all kinds of stuff going on. So that is a real possibility. Doesn't mean it will happen, but it's a possibility. So, I'm going to talk to, his name is Matthew, about that. And, but I know that I have a plan. I know now it's like almost having a baseline, this baseline, I went to the skin doctor the first time to have a baseline, but now it's kind of like a baseline of how good I can feel in the midst of chaos. And I can't tell you the thinking, black and white thinking, right? Either or, either you do everything on your list or you're, what's wrong with you kind of thing. Well, my list is kind of ridiculous. And so I ended up not doing the painting I thought I was going to do, and I did something else. Like, what is wrong with that? Like, I listened to myself, and that's what I wanted to do. But before, I guarantee you, I've been really internally, would have this low level of negativity about myself. So it's interesting. But I do think a lot of the painting that I do when I'm just making dots or marks, it's very meditative. And I think that bringing that time, even if it's a half hour, 10 minutes, it's meditation for me. And, I don't necessarily have to sit in front of my altar or, I am trying to bring awareness to my breath when I'm doing it. I'm trying to do that for everything. Like right now, let's take a breath. Nice, slow, easy breath. And I don't know about you, but y'all try it. You can do inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold, keep it empty 4, and do that. It's called square breathing. Or breathe in 7, hold 7, breathe, whatever works for you. But if you try it and you can just feel the tiniest bit of difference, you think, yeah, no, I'm holding my breath, or I'm not breathing into where I need to breathe to help my lungs. And when my mom was in the hospital, they give you this thing to blow, right? And the goal is to get better at it. And, really, we should all give those as we're born. And okay, and then you practice it, right? And you get better at it. Like anything, lungs need practice. They need, they need attention. So, yeah, so it's just kind of interesting. I just wanted to share that with you. And, so I have lots of papers with dots. And I was sitting on my floor, and I've been organizing things just loosely. And okay, let's think about today at work. Really, I've got a lot of classes going on, and right now that's okay. Before it'd been overwhelming, but there's a couple of projects I want to work on and finish to move on. A couple of these teachers, and a lot of them, like I said, have the same elements, like making your own collage paper. So that was what I was going to set up. But, you know, it's more of a production than sitting down and drawing or doing some watercolor stuff. You know, with acrylic, it's just different. And I really just wasn't into it. So I thought, okay, that's fine. It's your choice. It's your classes. And, you know, the 100-day project, I have 25 drawings, which I will show y'all. But, you know, my goal is now, I think it's day 40. So I'd like to work on my next 25. And, like, I brought my little kit for work so I can go out, you know, do a little walk and then go outside and sit. And, you know, I have different things to copy. And I thought, you know, I could even look around and see whatever. I mean, it's just, it's a practice, right? How do you get better at drawing if you never draw? I mean, you know, you're just not going to sit down and, you know, make a little etch like, you know, Rembrandt or somebody, right? You're not. And I'll never do that. But yeah, it's interesting. And I'm, like I said, I've been kind of low key on the true crime talk because of all the terrible cases they're talking about right now. I do not want it in my head. So I'm watching a lot more artists, which is super great. And, but yeah, I have a book. I'm trying to jot down any ideas I get. And there are possibilities, right? It's like even my to-do list is, you know, there are hard things you need to do. Like I need to have my taxes done by April 15th. And next weekend I'm going to work on, the first step is making sure I can get into TurboTax, that my password works. The second one is get all my papers together, find my last year taxes, right? And then sit down and start the process. And the good thing with TurboTax is you can walk away and come back. So that's what I'm going to start that process. My goal would be to have it done before my eye surgery, which is April 10th. That's a good, reasonable goal. So stuff like that. But yeah, so I do have a lot. Now I want to incorporate the garage. And so I have to be more aware, train myself to be more aware of time. So I can do what I want to do. And, you know, and I was thinking, you're the one that wants to, like I did my dishes last night. I don't know how I accumulate these dishes. It's unbelievable, really. But it's like you're the one that wants to walk downstairs and have a clean sink. And you want to practice so anyone living with you come down and there's a clear sink. You do it for yourself. Nobody's telling you, you know, are you in this mode of like your mother's making you do this, right? What am I rebelling against, right? My own peace of mind, you know? And how do I make that more meditative? Well, I usually listen to some kind of art talk. And that's very helpful. Or music or whatever's going on. So yeah, and like this morning, I really did want to unload the dishwasher, but I hadn't scheduled enough time, so I needed to sit down and play with Clara. So I had some papers I was sorting, and then she likes to come lay on them. So I had a good, you know, 15, 20-minute session with Clara, which is so much more important than my dishes being put away. Yeah, so it's like that kind of thing, but I feel okay about it. Where before, I just like, well, if you got up early, you could have done everything. What a loser kind of crap, you know what? So I don't know. It's just weird that it's so stunningly different. And it's so interesting. When I had weight loss surgery, which I'll do an introduction video because I have new people, but when I did weight loss surgery, I didn't, you know, when they removed I just did the stomach one where they removed, it's called, I can't remember, sleeve, a gastric sleeve. You really don't, there's a hormone, ghrelin, and it disappears. It does come back, but I didn't think about food, and I didn't care about food. I cared in the sense I had to eat a certain amount, keep my hair in my head, but I didn't realize how much food thinking has a part of my life and like a constant companion until it wasn't there. You don't know. I mean, it was like wild to me. It was like, oh my God, it's hormonal. There is a hormone that drives me to think about food, want to eat food, and that's its job. But normally it turns off when you eat, just like leptin. I'm not saying it right, but that tells you you're hungry. And a lot of people, that hormone does not turn on, or, you know, so it's interesting. But it's kind of like that. Like I was shocked. I was stunned. I was like, my God, what? Like I had no idea I was doing it because I had never not done it. So it's kind of like that. Now, I still have never done it like that. Sometimes I do, you know, especially, it's just, well, any of my thoughts can be crazy about any subject, right? But I find that because I don't have these racing thoughts and my brain is so much more balanced, it's, wow, it's peaceful. Like I'm feeling more peaceful. And even when something goes on, like my keys, I don't immediately go into annoyance or panic, or I just thought, okay, let's think this through. That's what the drugs do for me. It lets me think without being impulsive. And not that I'm not ever impulsive, trust me. That's not, that's part of humanity, but it gives me that second. And I did immediately feel those feelings, I didn't get flooded with anxiety or fear or whatever it is. I didn't. And then my thoughts were about solving the problem instead of catastrophizing the problem. So my thoughts did not cause me to have that feeling. And I thought later, wow. And even I met my friend for lunch, which was perfect. And I need to do more of that. But before I'd be like, oh my God, you're not going to get anything done. Why are you doing this? And I didn't have that. I thought, yeah, it's going to be nice. I haven't seen her, just hang out. It's a good break of my day. Got me up, got me dressed. And why are you withholding that? So I'm going to work on, catching up with people, being a little bit more social. I still do. There is a limited amount of time in the day, in the life. And, there is a lot of stuff I'm doing, but I need to schedule that in. The problem is a lot of people live far from me. So, but anyway, it was interesting because it's like, well, this is what balance is, right? You are doing some art. You are taking care of your house, yourself. You can see people. You can spend, meditative time. So anyway, I just want to share that with you. It just, because talking to you helps me think it through, like Beverly. Talking stuff through with Beverly always helps. It's good to have someone and not keep it internalized where it just goes wild. Plus morning pages, I'm getting better at doing them more often because I think that's a huge tool. There's so many great tools. And it's like, all you have to do is open the drawer and grab it, but you don't. Or you think, oh, it's not in that drawer, but you don't check to see it's in that drawer, right? Anyway, but those of you who made it this far, so I got a comment from someone who wants me to rev up my engine. Like, what? How do you rev up your engine? Like, what? I was like, what? So if you made it this far, I don't think I'm revving up my engine. I don't even know what that means. So it's not that kind of channel, right? And yeah, so please, if you're new, and the people have been talking about art, I do, my art's always been a part of my life. Wouldn't have called it that, but since I was a kid, paper dolls, cutting things out of magazines, taping them down in books or gluing them in books, that kind of thing has always been a part of who I am. And then altered books, right? Doing all kinds of different things, learning techniques. And now I would just consider myself a mixed media artist. And I love all mediums, and I'm just playing around, learning. I think I probably draw more to acrylic than watercolor, but watercolor is easier to play with. So yeah, so I'm going to show some of my journals and stuff and take you arting with me. And yeah, and Lynn, I'm really sorry that I did not show me making my tuna. I thought about it and it went out of my head, and sometimes it's because my camera won't go right, but I'll do my best to do that. It's not intentional. I really need production. So cut, Tracy, put the camera on the food. Yeah, Tracy, you said that word wrong, but anyway, so you guys are my producers for me. So I will work on that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think up something yummy to make for camera. I'm not sure. I want to do the hummus, and I do have canned chickpeas. Maybe I'll do that. I ate up my last hummus. I have one now I need to finish, and then maybe that's what I'll do because I have my lemons are still pretty good. So I'm going to do that. And Barb's always sent me some good ideas about it. So maybe I'll read up today and I'll do a quick load. And then I'll have to get out my food processor. And, which I don't use because I don't really understand it. But you know what? How am I going to understand it if I don't use it? So that's what's going on there. But anyway, you guys, I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a great weekend. And I'm going to have a great day at work.